Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. And to all of you who are new here, I would like to offer you a warm welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. Today's thought-provoking message is, what if all those times in my life where I have suffered emotional, physical or spiritual pain, I discover that it is all predesigned to assist me on my life's journey to become a self-actualized, self-realized, and emotionally intelligent human being? What if, after becoming aware that I am on a spiritual journey, I then find out that the experiences I have had to this point were only the first steps of my awakening, and that this journey I've been traveling does not have an ending, but rather a beginning to a new journey, a journey to enlightenment? What if these first steps were merely the training I must undergo to prepare myself for the divine plan that I signed up for before I chose to incarnate here on earth? This is what I came to realize after spending a good 10 years attempting to achieve enlightenment. I remember the shock that rippled through every cell in my body when I first experienced a true shift in dimensions while remaining very much aware of being in two spaces in one time. Seeing through to the other side of the veil was literally like poking my head through the curtain in a theatre to see another reality waiting for me on the other side, while my body remained in the only dimension I knew to exist at that time. I knew in that moment that I had just ended one journey in exchange for a new one, and I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, as I felt like I had been taken for a ride, like I had done all this work for all these years to now find myself back where I started, and the feeling of uncertainty was quite overwhelming at the time. It was several days later that I began receiving downloads showing me the many steps that I had travelled to get me to where I was in that moment. I was shown a rainbow bridge and that I had finally reached the 7 steps to heaven. It was indicated to me that there were 5 more steps to go, and that there are in total 12 steps that we must take in order to enter heaven's gate. And when we achieve this, we activate the 13th gate, which is like receiving the golden key to unlock the gate to enter into the Garden of Eden. It was after I received this information about the 12 steps to heaven that I connected this message to a channeled message I was given by my spiritual development teacher back in 2009, that later confirmed the information I received about the divine plan when I was channeling my sister's life review, which I shared with you in my first video of the series. In 2009, a year into my spiritual journey, I was given a 5-page message that was a transcript written by someone who had channeled information from the Pleiadians. This message at the time rocked my world. It was all new for me at the time, but I remember being heartbroken because everything I thought I knew about my very existence was in question. I felt betrayed as the life I had led until that moment felt certain, but after reading an alternative theory on how we came to exist here on earth, I felt like I had been living a lie, and my life in an instant became very uncertain. I didn't understand why at the time, but as I read the words, I knew in my heart that what I was reading was true. It resonated so deeply, it was profound. I found myself crying uncontrollably on and off for weeks after this discovery. I would be emotionally triggered by music, a person, a situation, or even a memory. It was an unusual experience for me at the time. Little did I know that through the reading of this transcript, I had experienced my first activation that would be the beginning of many activations to awaken me to remember who I truly am. So what is the divine plan, and how did this plan come to be? Well, I can only share with you what I was shown and communicated through the telepathic communications I received from the Council of Light, who stood before my sister and I when we experienced her life review in 2018. The following is my understanding of what I have learned. The divine plan was created so that every soul that chose to incarnate onto this beautiful planet we call Earth would be born, gifted with an incredible, intelligent, biological human suit that would allow us to experience ourselves in physical form. To do this, we quite literally had to separate ourselves from the one true source of divine creator energy, or what many refer to as God. With our small piece of God, source energy, we would merge with the physical body, or biological human suit, if you will, so that we could learn to know ourselves on all levels of being. When we were one with the Creator, all was bliss, all was perfect, divine and complete, and all was infinite and known. To truly know ourselves as infinite, divine creator beings on a physical level, we came to understand that this could only be achieved by dividing one into many, and was thus decided that we would divide ourselves in order to create a separation from one another, so we might know what it would feel like if we were no longer one of the same. As these ideas of separation sprung into action and were practiced and experienced, it was further understood that to truly experience ourselves in the physical, that we might gain an even better understanding and experience if we were to forget who we once were, so we could experience what the game of life on earth could teach us without our connection to Source, without our connection to God. So it was decided that our memory of who we once were would be hidden from us when we first incarnated onto the earth plane. From the moment of birth until around 7 years old, we would slowly forget who we are, having only the energetic guidance and support of our soul families in the stars, until we found our feet, so to speak. The knowledge of who we are would lay dormant, hidden within our DNA, within our divine soul blueprint, ready for the many opportunities to be activated through our life experiences to reawaken and remember who we truly are. The plan was that we would eventually remember that we came here to experience all aspects of living a life in physical form, and to learn to embrace all negative aspects of life here, as without them we could not have come to know, feel, and appreciate what it is to feel good, to experience positive times in our life. The divine plan was to incarnate here on earth, to experience all that earth has to offer when living it in physical form, to eventually awaken to remember our true identity, so we can gain the infinite wisdom necessary to allow our light, our soul, our peace of God, the all that is, to descend into our physical body and integrate fully, so we can truly experience what our soul has already experienced energetically, and that is heaven. When merged with our physical body, we can then experience life in physical form while maintaining a constant connection to the infinite source of creation, which will allow us to truly experience heaven here on earth. This was our intention. So when we were born, we would arrive in our mother's womb with little memory or knowledge of our connection to God Source energy, forgetting that we are in fact infinite creator beings of light, born with the gift of sovereignty to all the lands of earth, that our true mother is the earth herself, Mother Gaia, offering us everything we need to survive. The pure, naturally filtered water in our rivers and streams to drink, wash and feed our crops, the plants and forests to feed, nourish, medicate and protect us, the animals to guide us and befriend us, and the crystals to heal, transform and awaken us to remember the infinite light, the treasure we hold within. Our true Father gifts us with daylight so we can experience the beauty this earth has to offer through our 5 physical senses. He brings us sunshine to keep us warm and to sustain the light that we carry within us, as well as to grow our crops in order to feed us while we evolve from a carbon-based human to a crystalline-based human. He brings us the rains to fill our lakes and to sustain life on this planet, and to allow us to move freely across the waters to connect from one island to another. He brings us nighttime to allow us to rest our physical bodies and for our light bodies to return to Source, to rejuvenate and maintain connection through dream time. He gifts us with the stars that we see in our night sky that offer us guidance to remember who we are and where we came from. This information truly resonated at the time and really helped me to appreciate all my life's experiences, good and bad. I began to see how perception played a major role in how we react or overreact to situations in our life. It led me to understand, or rather understand, that when we learn to consider another person's point of view rather than just our own, we can then offer them a response that is based on truth rather than fear, a response that is free from judgment and condemnation. This important message of seeing all situations from all points of view before reacting or casting judgment, I have shared with you throughout this series, and I will continue to do so with the hopes you too might begin to consider using this practice in all your relationships. Almost a year later to the day of my sister's life review, I received another transmission in 2019 regarding the divine plan, and here is what I wrote at the time. The divine plan will only be revealed to you when enlightenment is reached. At some point in your life, you will eventually come to discover that everything you strive to achieve or obtain can and often is either taken from you or must be replaced or upgraded. After experiencing this over and over again throughout your life, these things you once strived for or worked hard to achieve will begin to lose their value and impact in your life, and as a result, you may find yourself less driven to achieve. It is these Groundhog Day type experiences that often awaken the seeker within and inspire one to become more aware in their daily life. As you become aware, you come to realize that no matter what it is you have or want in the material world, you will always want for more. This is due to the fact that we are born creators, and once we have something, very soon it becomes obsolete, old-fashioned, outdated, or old news. And so we begin again, wanting new stuff, new cars, new clothes, new hairstyles, and even new relationships. And in the wanting of these things, they eventually manifest into our lives. As we become more aware, we learn that this wanting for more in pursuit of having more in our life does not always equate to being happier. As this realization takes hold, we naturally gravitate to asking bigger questions like, is this it? Is there not more to this life than this repetitive mouse and wheel cycle of work, eat and sleep, just so I can go out and buy more things that I know are not going to bring me the joy, happiness and abundance I know I deserve? As you delve deeper with many more questions about life, many are drawn to spirituality to find the answers to these questions and to find a deeper meaning in their life. We all instinctively know that there is more to this life than what we are experiencing, and there are many who feel there is something missing within them. This is why so many of us are driven to seek out the answers to some of life's big questions and mysteries. Once you reach the point of understanding that we are all one, you then go through many phases of growth and expansion, individually learning more and more about your connection to source energy and how you are all connected through consciousness. As our awareness grows, many of us go through days, weeks, and even months of experiencing moments of grief, loss, fear, sadness, pain, and many other emotional states before reaching a deeper understanding of the self. This deeper understanding comes about through the releasing and letting go of past pain and trauma to reveal new insights that allow forgiveness to take place. Through forgiveness, we open ourselves up to new understandings, and once integrated, one can experience moments of joy, freedom, creativity, and knowing. These emotional highs and lows are a necessary part of the ascension process and part of the divine plan to assist you to fully integrate all that you have come to learn thus far on your journey and bring you closer to becoming a self-actualized, self-realized, enlightened being. For many, including myself, it was concluded that once you become awakened to remember who you are and achieve self-realization, you would reach that end point of your journey. Many also believe that once you have embraced the light within, that perhaps a secret door would be revealed or an escape pod delivered to take you to that place where there is no more suffering and the rest of your life could be lived out in peace and tranquility. This dreamlike happy ending does exist and is achievable, but it isn't quite how we imagined the story to end, because as I mentioned earlier, becoming self-actualized doesn't bring your journey to an end, but rather it brings an ending to a new beginning. As we awaken, we naturally raise our vibration, and that takes us up through the energy centers of our body, from the base chakra through to the crown. These are the first 7 steps to heaven. Through doing the inner work, you will eventually bring balance to each of the 7 chakras, which are directly connected to your physical body or biological human suit. As discussed in many of my previous videos, our emotions, thoughts, feelings, and reactions play a huge role in whether or not our body remains in a perfect state of health and balance. Each chakra is directly influenced by certain emotions, feelings, colors, and senses like touch, taste, and smell. Each chakra has the ability to trigger a response from particular organs and even parts of the body. Each chakra is also represented by a certain color, a frequency of sound, and even a belief. These 7 chakras are the communication centers of your endocrine system, which is responsible for regulating a range of bodily functions through the release of hormones. These hormones are secreted by the glands in the endocrine system, which travel through the bloodstream to various organs and tissues in the body. So when we are in pain emotionally, physically, or even spiritually, we can use the chakras as a means to finding the source of our problems, our pain, or our sorrow, and heal that area in our life that is out of balance. I will be sharing everything I know about the chakras, what they are and how they work, and why you need to know about them in my upcoming videos. I will teach you how to use the knowledge of the chakra system to bring your body into balance with daily practices. The process of healing and balancing the chakras is done by clearing away past traumatic events that you may have experienced but have never addressed or healed. This trauma is held within the physical body at a cellular level and is trapped there through the recorded memories that your subconscious mind has stored as a means of protecting you from perceived danger. These memories you hold within you must be released, and once you begin to release the past traumas from this lifetime, you will eventually discover that you hold even older memories from past lives lived from previous incarnations. As you move through the chakras in your body, releasing, clearing, and healing, you move up the steps to heaven, or what many refer to as Jacob's ladder. The more pain and suffering that is released, the faster you will ascend to the crown, the seventh step to heaven. The first three chakras are very connected to your younger years and require deeper inner child work to release trauma, misunderstandings, and much unforgiveness. It is at this point you will come to realize that the reason you must let go is so that you can make room for your divine counterpart to move in, to descend into your physical body, vessel, or biological suit, so that you can eventually merge as one. Your soul body is crystalline in structure and is of an extremely high vibration, and your physical body is carbon-based and vibrates at a much lower frequency. What keeps the body at a low vibration is heavy, negative thoughts and feelings, and feeding the body with dense, low energy, highly processed foods, drinks, and unfiltered water. So by bringing each chakra into perfect balance allows your vibration to rise without interruption from your feet right up to the top of your head, where the seventh chakra, the crown chakra, resides. When all chakras are aligned, the crown opens like a lotus flower and creates a kind of portal which opens you up to connect with a universal part of you. This is where you move through the final 5 steps towards heaven, which involves a deeper communication with your soul, and this will open the door to your multi-dimensional you. During this great awakening, we will all eventually come to remember that we chose to be here for this very special event, to clear the generational trauma we have all experienced together as a collective over many timelines. The pain of war, famine, and betrayal are deeply rooted in all of us from thousands of years, and as I have mentioned before, even our Mother Gaia is going through this ascension with us. She is also purging and releasing this same heavy energy that has penetrated deep within her soil and in the plants, trees, and animals that live close to her heart. The damage we have done and allowed to happen on this planet is horrendous. The deforestation, the overmining of resources, the abuse of animals, it has all gone on for long enough. Now Mother has spoken, and she knows that we, her children, never intended for this to happen. So she is supporting us through this ascension, as she knows that we must work together to create this new heaven on earth. Mother knows that as we heal the chakra centers of our own physical bodies, we in turn heal the chakra centers of her body and collectively create a new crystalline grid that will support us all. Remember, enlightenment is merely the training you must undergo to prepare you for the divine plan. Knowing and understanding this is of great importance because it will help take some of the pressure off focusing too deeply on achieving realization and enlightenment. Far too many beings today are overly focused on achieving realization to a point that they are not reaching enlightenment due to the basic laws of the universe. They are simply trying too hard. In their desperate search for enlightenment, they continue to remain in a desperate search, never quite achieving the end goal. We must remember that life was designed to flow, and the universe provides us with all the gifts we will ever need to take us to self-realization and enlightenment in our everyday lives without actually searching for it. We only have to let life play out and learn to just be in every moment of every day. With this understanding in mind, it makes sense that the natural and most effective approach in moving forward to obtain enlightenment, to prepare you for the next step in your human evolution, would be to gain emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence offers you the freedom to live a life with all its ups and downs, its joys and struggles, in a way that honors yourself and all who become entangled in your story, in your world. When you approach life in this way, enlightenment will come knocking on your door, and when the time is right, you will be ready with open arms to step into the next phase of your transition into divinity itself. Becoming an enlightened being is your ticket into the multi-dimensional world. As you ascend from third density to fourth, the truth of who you are will begin to be revealed to you through experiences of lost time, gaining time, and time standing still. These experiences, both in dream time and while in an awake state, will awaken distant memories held within, and over time you will find yourself remembering experiences that may not be explained in this timeline. As you begin questioning these new realities you are experiencing, a whole new world will be revealed to you, and it is only then that you begin to realize that you have shifted into the new earth. This is often referred to as the 5D earth. What I discovered through my sister's life review after being activated and awakened was that we all took part in the creation of soul agreements that govern the families we are born into, the people we associate with, and the missions we chose to take on board once we awaken to remember them. Once you have come to accept this understanding of this reality you reside in, then you can fully grasp the idea that you are much more than simply a human being, more than a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a husband or a wife, or a mother, a father, a sister or a brother, a grandmother or grandfather, a son or a daughter, or simply a good friend. You begin to remember that you are a multi-dimensional light being, currently residing in a human vessel, a biological suit, if you will, that has finally awakened to the realization that you must now merge as one to realize your fullest potential and to bring the divine plan into reality. That divine plan to return home, to heaven here on earth. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to you joining me for part 8 of my What If Awakening to Remember series, where I will be sharing with you the foundational message I received from the Archship Angels, a collective of light beings who connected with me soon after the death of my sister to inform me of the mission that I had agreed upon prior to my incarnation. I believe I received this message on the 17th of December 2018 after referring to my notes, and that makes it 2 years to the day, 17th of December 2020, that I share this with you now. It has honestly taken me 2 years to find the courage to share this message on audio, because at the time I received this transmission, my linear, fearful self was resistant to share it, as it sounded too good to be true and too far-fetched. With the year of 2020 approaching its end, I am feeling that this transmission I received 2 years ago is absolutely relevant to the timeline we are experiencing right now, and I believe we truly are in the midst of a massive shift on planet Earth, and humanity is being forced to take a good hard look at itself and to make a choice. Do we want to remain in a vibrational frequency of fear and choose to believe that we have to and must continue living out our lives the way we have always done, generation after generation? Or do we want to remain in a vibrational frequency of love and remember that we are all, even as individuals, powerful, divine, creative beings who contain the essence of the all that is, and when we come together, we have the capability to create worlds. With love, Vibeke.